What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mongols. I am not Mike. I am Steve. But with me is Josh Brokaw and Justin Ashcraft. And we're going to talk about this week in Hounds and look forward a little bit. So, guys, how you doing? Justin, tell us how things are going.
Yeah, things are going great. And it's been a fun week and had a good Mother's Day today. And all of that. So yeah, spent all day yesterday at Knoebels amusement park. It was awesome. So that was fun. Yeah, been a great day though.
I'd never heard of Knoebels amusement park. Like, what is this place?
So it's a free to get in ticketed rides amusement park. So it's awesome because you can go and you just walk around. If you don't want to ride anything, you don't got to pay anything. You just get to walk around and have fun. But then you buy like books of tickets, and then the tickets get you on the rides. But what's awesome is like for our 5-year-old, like we could buy unlimited wristbands, so she could just get on as many rides as she wants, and then we can pay for our rides. And ultimately, we don't pay that much. So it's great because we can just walk around and let her do whatever she wants.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. Laura Ellen posted a picture of you and your daughter on one of the rides, and you look like you were having a blast, and I think she put you to shame with how much joy was on her face. It was fantastic.
Well, she got off that ride, and she said, I didn't like it. And I was like, okay. I mean, it looked like you were having fun on the ride.
The picture doesn't tell that story.
I know.
Josh, what's good?
Getting over a cold. I'm almost good. I got a fever like last week, like Monday, Tuesday, and then by the end of the week, I no longer have a fever, but I was definitely I'm still coughing a lot. So now it's to the point where I feel fine, but I just can't get rid of this cough. So hopefully it doesn't last for multiple weeks like I've had in the past. So we'll see.
Well, we wish you the best in getting better. It has been marvelous weather out this weekend. I'll say, I mean, man, bummer that we didn't get to be at the stadium last night because of how nice this weather has been. But I've been taking full advantage of it. Finally got everything finished with my fruit garden, started doing some other stuff outside, went to Swickley's May Mart yesterday. So just a nice weekend of outdoor stuff in the yard and around the house, and built some bird feeders out of cedar. So just kind of enjoying things. I also had this random woman who was running for the Ambridge Town Council just show up on my porch while I was working on those. And I got the most unique, I think, piece of political marketing I've ever gotten, an emery board with her name on it. Like for filing your nails. And I'm like, I don't know, but hey, probably not going to vote for her, but I got an emery board out of it. So we've got a couple of games to talk about. So we're going to talk about the New York game first. So Josh.
It's been a while.
A beautiful missed sound. Yeah, guys, Open Cup game on Wednesday at Highmark. And it was a game. 1-0 victory by the Hounds to advance. And I want to say, I think most people probably are aware of this, but there are 16 teams left. 15 of those teams are from MLS. One of those teams is from the USL Championship, and that one team is our beloved Pittsburgh Riverhounds, which is just fantastic that this is 2 out of 3 years that the Hounds are the furthest advancing lowest division team, regardless of where they end up after this. So, yeah, I mean, it happened in dramatic fashion, but let's take a look at what Laura Ellen has to say about it.
And now, hey, sir, 1-minute reactions with Laura Ellen.
How is this real life? I can't decide if I want to just scream or my heart is racing. I wish we would have stayed in Pittsburgh, but if we would have stayed in Pittsburgh, we would not have won. But what a win! This is the confidence. This is what this team needs. This is what they needed. They needed the confidence and demonstrating that they know what they're doing. Oh my goodness, they played so well. There were a few times throughout the game, I'm going to say it, that I was like, oh man, oh boy. But then, oh my word, what a finish. And it was a beautiful finish too. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness. Wow. Well done, boys. This is so exciting. Now, let's take this. Let's put it into some USL games. Let's do it. Let's go. Oh!
This has been Hey Sir, 1 minute reactions with Laura Ellen.
So I'm just going to say it for both Liz and I. Laura Ellen, Liz has a guest room. Liz and Josh have a guest room. I have a guest room. We invited you both to use our guest rooms. You could have stayed in Pittsburgh. So next time, stay in Pittsburgh and use somebody's guest room. No, but I mean, yeah, guys. Justin, give me a takeaway from this game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great game, and I thought we did really well overall. Yeah, I mean, it's hard when you're playing against an MLS team, better competition. They're also going to have most of the possession and be able to pass around a little bit. But I thought we did really, really well weathering the storm and not giving away too many like clear cut chances. So that was my takeaway.
Yeah, Josh, what do you got?
Yeah, it was definitely a situation where I was really worried going into this match. I was thinking that we were, not having a great time of things. And I wasn't expecting much, if I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they were holding their own and that they were able to just fend off New York as long as they did. And I thought it was destined to go to PKs. Like I just assumed we're going to PKs on this. Like neither team's doing that great offensively here. So when we got that header, and I was just amazed. I was just shocked. And the fact that we didn't have to go to any extra time, or well, yeah, you know what I mean, overtime, was fantastic. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I really, I think you're right. I think both teams holding their own is a really good way to talk about it. I mean, New York, you expect an MLS team to come in and be able to have some players that can make a direct impact. We saw that a couple of years ago in Cincinnati, and we saw it on Wednesday. Was named Fernandez came in and looked like he was going to change the game a couple of times. I think what is absolutely amazing about the Hounds' performance is if you look at how much more of the ball New York had and how much more aggressive they were with the ball. The Hounds on the night took 303 passes. New York City FC took 302 passes in the Hounds' defensive half, right? And so on the attack, New York took just as many passes as the Hounds did total in that game, but the Hounds' defense was absolutely resolute. And I would say, I mean, we have seen some great Hounds defensive performances, but this is one that is up there in the discussion for me of best ever defensive performances under Bob Lilley for the Hounds. Justin, anything else? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, I think they did take a lot of passes in our defensive half, but a lot of them were center back to outside back to center back. And they were all like at midfield, and I think the Hounds did a really good job of keeping them to the outside. And I think that says something about Griffin, Walty, all those guys don't let people play around them all that much. And so like it was good to see them kind of in the midfield. Yeah, they had the pressure most of the night, but you kind of expect that. I know that I said to Mike the week before, the Friday before on the prediction show that in that Columbus Crew game that we won at Highmark, we had 25% of the possession. I think we had 35 or something close to that on the night against NYCFC. And that's just, that's what you come to expect against a team that's in the higher division. I think the other thing we got lucky. New York didn't come to play. They didn't bring their top line, and they didn't even put them on the bench to try to change the game, late in the game. But you got to play the team across from you, and I think we did a good job of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other thing that we're not talking about in that is we talked about it last week or the week before, just about how many goals the Hounds have given up so far this season, and how that has been a bit more than what we expect to see. And Eric Dick came up big. Excuse me. Eric Dick came up big, and that was absolutely fantastic. Josh, give me something. I'm going to figure out what's going on with my throat.
No, Dick did a really good job. But Wall actually had a pretty good game until he got injured there. And when he did get injured, I don't know if you noticed, but during the goal celebration, he was like hobbling over to like celebrate with the rest of the team. And so I'm a little bit worried about how serious that injury was, because he was not walking around too well afterwards. Even when the player signings happened, I wasn't at the game, but I was talking to people, and it sounds like he was limping there as well. So that's a little bit concerning to see what's going on there. But as we'll talk about with the game afterwards, maybe not as concerning as it could be. But with this game, though, I will say that we mentioned it a little bit at the very beginning, but us being the last standing USL team, so what that actually means is $50,000 is the prize money for being the last championship team. So we got that money. We also got that the year before when we were the farthest along team. And then the only really other prize money to be had, or like anything that we could get, is if we are either first place or second place. So I wouldn't expect very much more out of this tournament, other than pride and just being able to say you've gone even farther. So just keep that in mind as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, but I think that is a really important thing. But the nice thing about that is because all of the other teams got knocked out, it means that the Hounds get that money now, and we don't have to try to think about, if we win this next game and nobody else does, do we get that prize money then, right? Like, it's already in the bag. That's great to know. We can just go play with freedom, play our best game, but Bob doesn't have to be thinking, hey, I've got money on the line now. He's already got that money. Man, Justin, there was a red card in this game. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on what happened with that and your reaction in the moment.
My reaction, well, I mean, my wife was very vocal. We were trying to get our daughter to sleep in the second half of this game, and it was very difficult between the red card and the goal. She came down after the goal celebration and went, "What just happened?" We were like, "The Hounds won. It's really okay. Go back to bed." But the red card, it was a red card, and I don't know how else to play it. I love Sample's work on that. Like, he got in between the defender and the ball, and made himself big, got a touch on it, put it out in front of him. I'm not sure if he would have got there before the keeper, but you can't just dive at a guy's feet and like get in front of him that way. I think it's just you're not allowed to do that. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really matter whether he got there, and so the announcers, I think, were trying to make it, we were watching on TV, and the announcers were trying to make it like, well, is that really a clear denial of a goal scoring opportunity? Because the ball was really out far in front of him. So it doesn't matter. You can't lay down in front of a guy and trip him up to keep him off the ball. So it was I think it's a clear cut card, and I don't think the way the guy responded to it, he didn't have he knew what he did. And so It's like, all right, well, if he's not arguing, then I don't know why the announcers are arguing for him.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, Josh, do you have any other thoughts on that play or how that impacted the game then?
Yeah, it was definitely a red card. I also agree. Obviously, of course, I'm a Hounds fan, so I'm going to agree with it. I guess the only argument, like the announcers were trying to say, was that it was a ways ahead of him. But if that's the case, then the guy shouldn't have done what he did, because if he was going to get to it anyway, then why foul him? So I don't really see the logic of that argument. And it's weird because, like, I'm trying to think if it really changed much in the game. Like, if it felt like, oh, the Hounds are really on the front foot now after this, being up a man. And I don't really think it did feel that different after the red card. Like, I can definitely see that, maybe Beto wouldn't have been as wide open for his header, his game-winning header at the end of the game if there was another New York player out there. But other than like that, I guess you could argue was definitely probably effective. But I don't feel like this was a red card that completely changed the makeup of the game.
Yeah, I think I agree that. Go ahead, Jason.
I was gonna say I would agree with you, Josh, and I think what you were saying about like this game felt like it was destined for PKs. I thought that until the red card, and I thought I don't know if the Hounds score in regular time, but I think once we go to extra time and after playing 30 minutes with man up and being able to make another, I think had we gone to extra time, Augie would have probably come on, all that kind of stuff. I think we would have been able to get the foothold in the game that it didn't look like. I just thought the last like 3 or 4 minutes, like maybe just stoppage time. I thought stoppage time, we looked like, okay, we feels like the game is turning a little bit. And I think had we gone to extra time and Augie had come in all that, I think all of a sudden we would have seen us put our foot down a little bit. But I would agree in the 10 minutes that there was between the red card and the end of the game, I don't know that anything changed, but I felt like things were starting to change, and extra time would have kind of cemented that had we gone there. But I'm really glad we didn't.
Yeah, I think I agree in retrospect, but on the night immediately after the red card, New York had really improved their offensive efforts. I felt giving themselves a lot more chances in the second half. And right after that red card, it looked like to me for the next 4 or 5 minutes, they were really trying to make something happen. And the Hounds were great defensively, but it made me a little nervous of if they just go like this for the next 10 plus minutes, whatever is in stoppage time, can we keep up with them that long if they're just throwing everything at us with an onslaught? And then after a few minutes, that kind of died off and it seemed like it was a little more level. So I think, but in that moment, I was not feeling like New York was giving up in that moment. And so it was kind of like a big wave of like, oh no. And then, okay, I think we're okay at least. But I think my overall takeaway from this game was regardless of whether we scored that goal or not, regardless of if we went to overtime and did or didn't score, went to PKs and won or didn't win, the performance from the Hounds was just absolutely top tier to take that game and ensure that they played as well as they did and played well as a team. And I think that is what, for me, was one of the best aspects of this game was everybody was playing really well together. When we were looking for an outlet, the passes were a lot better. I thought Jacques Assin was really good in his 45 minutes. He was an outlet for quite a bit. And then had to come off because of probably managing his minutes. And so I'm really happy with that game, with or without that goal. And then there was that goal. And man, what a goal it was. And everybody is talking about Beto, and it was a beautiful header, but the service from Mertz was just sublime to get it to that spot. And I think that we've talked about that. We've wanted to see players get on the end of those. We finally got to see that on Wednesday night. So it was a great game. You guys have any last thoughts about the New York game before we move on to last night?
I mean, that service, you are completely right. It was fantastic, and it spoiled us because then all the next game, like every time Mertz was taking a corner, I'm just like, let's see it, Mertz. We know you got it in you. Let's see it. And yeah, obviously it did happen again, but it was it was a really good goal, and there was a lot of mirroring going on. If you remember Miracle on the Mon, the goal that Kerr made, and he swings his shirt off and runs to that corner flag as well. It's almost like the exact celebration, and like the moment was just really fun to, like, if you know your Hounds history, seeing that happen at the exact same spot and the exact same type of celebration. Although Beto is much more rip, I will say. Kerr was back when that happened, but it was a really cool moment, and the fact that is his first professional goal is just that's amazing for him. So
I had a big moment of self-consciousness, and I was like, man, if I was half that ripped, I'd look fantastic. And I'm like, but I got like almost 2 decades on this guy. So
That's not a soccer player, constantly
right. I haven't
running
played soccer
every
since
single
I
day.
was 18 competitively, right? So, Justin, any last thoughts?
My only other thought, I wondered what you guys thought about the Larson substitution. Getting in at halftime, coming off at 75 or whatever he came off at. Any thoughts? I thought that was a little bit weird. I didn't think he did anything deserve to come off, so I was wondering a little bit. It's hard to look back because you're like, well, we won the game, so does it matter? Does it really matter? But that was another one of those where I'm questioning Bob of like, okay, you have Augie on the bench, you sub Larson in at halftime, you take him off and don't put an attacker on the field. I mean, you put Garcia, but like, or Borg, I can't remember if it was Borgi or Garcia, but you put one of them on and like, what? That was just another one of those Bob substitutions, and I'm just like, what is happening?
For me, it was just one of those, really, Bob? Okay, why am I surprised? I'm not surprised, Bob.
Yeah, I didn't really understand what was going on with the substitutions as well. But at the same time, it's like, I guess you do forgive a lot when you walk away with a win. So it's just like, well, I don't know, but it worked. So sure.
Yeah.
It just brought up another theme for me of like, we've been talking about it all season long about his substitution patterns and he take attackers off the field and all that kind of stuff. And so, yes, it worked out this time and we won the game, so I can't fault him too much. But like, it doesn't, I don't know. It didn't feel like it changed all that much. I'm like, all right, cool. That's you did it again. You took an attacker off, didn't put another one on. Especially you took an attacker that's only played 25 minutes, 35 minutes, or whatever it was. So it was just a weird set of substitutions, but it worked.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wasn't the only game because we also had a game in Louisville last night. And I got to say, not specific to this game, but one of the things I love about being a Hounds fan and about just the group of people that you get to know through that is the memories that some of us that have been around longer have and the things that we can talk about with other people. And so talking about last night on our Slack about we went to Lynn Family Stadium and got a result. But the first ever game in that stadium was a 3-1 Hounds win. And being able to kind of like talk about those things and reminisce about those things always brings a smile to my face. So, but that was not this game. This game was a little bit different. So, Josh, give me a takeaway on this 0-0 draw.
This is, despite the scoreline, a very positive game for us. I feel like this between the Open Cup coming off of that win, that adrenaline, that confidence boost that game caused, going into this one and being able to grind out a point against the top team in the league. I don't think there's anything to be sad about with this game. It was also fantastic to finally get Augie and Burton up front together. First time we've gotten that. So hopefully this is like a sign, because I did think they looked good together too. I thought there was actually a lot of good play, and Augie had the most chances we've ever had with him. It was a miracle that he didn't score pretty much for a lot of those opportunities. And there was a couple of one-on-ones, and it sucks that he didn't score, but at the same time, it wasn't like he choked. It was just that the keeper got the ball. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this game. This was a really good showing.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I mean, I put it down in our notes as Augie getting more involved, and I like the way that you talked about that, because I feel like that helps me at least frame it in a little bit better of a manner, because I still, even till an hour ago, wasn't quite sure how I felt about Augie. I was like, okay, I see some things, but do I feel good about it? Do I not feel good about it? I don't know. I'm not going to make an assumption. He got involved. Let somebody else talk about it. Josh, thanks for talking about it.
Sure, Justin, you probably have some thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, Justin, do you want to talk about it too?
No, because I'm going to be negative about it. I don't want to be negative about it. It was too good of a game to be negative about that.
That's what I thought. I was waiting for. I was like, okay, Justin's going to come in here with the reality.
I I mean, so the first one, the first one-on-one that he had in the first half, Toch made a great play on that. He fought his way, like Augie had him beat, and he just fought his way back into it and got a touch on the ball. And so, no, you can't. I wish Augie would have been a little bit faster on the shot. Like he kind of I understand what he's doing as a striker there. He's waiting for the keeper to make a move, and then he's probably going to try to chip it over the keeper because the keeper would come out and gone low. And so he was probably going to try to chip it over him, which would have given him all kinds of confidence in the world had he done that. But Toch made a great play there. The one in the 80th minute, I thought Augie's first touch was awful. And if he had made a better first touch, that was easy shot and goal. But he made a bad first touch, which took him wide, and he couldn't get back on it. So he made a great play to get back on it after the keeper saved it. It came kind of back to him. And he got back on it. Just not everybody could get into the play right away, so we couldn't get a shot off there. But I thought the Hounds played really well. I didn't get to watch the whole game, but got to watch a good chunk of it, and then watch a couple of highlight videos today. And I thought the Hounds played really, really well. Eric Dick's still playing really well. He kind of I feel like since Randolph played a game or two there, it's like Dick's been like, no, this is my spot, and I'm not giving it back yet, and has played really, really well the last couple of games.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think that was one of the things in both of these games that I mentioned it, right? Like that we were talking about the number of goals that we've given up. To see the defense and Dick come up big and get 2 clean sheets in a row is really, really nice. Makes me feel like, okay, we've got something figured out this season. And I mean, so Josh, I think it was you alluded to this a few minutes ago, that again, Alal out injured, but is it Guillermo? Does anybody know how to say it? I have not looked at the pronunciation guide. Vactor. Arrives on the scene and looks really, really good. I mean, he looked really good against New York. I don't think he looked like he was the best defender on the field against New York, but I think there's a case to make that he might have been the only defender that didn't make an actual nervy type of mistake against Louisville. And really, really impressed with what we're seeing from him over the course of 2 games that he started this week. And makes me feel like, okay, like we've got some depth at center back, and depth at center back that I think is the type of depth that I'm not sure I felt we've had in quite a while. And so I'm really excited to see what he can do. And I think this puts Bob potentially in a position where he's got some tough choices when everybody's healthy of who's starting. And I like that he has those choices to make. So I've been asking for those choices to be the types of things. I'd like to see it in other parts of the field, but I'm glad we have it in defense.
I have a question because I had, when I stopped when the game was over and I was thinking about the whole thing, I was kind of down on Burton, and I thought that Jackson didn't have a great game. But am I wrong? Like, was he doing things I just was not paying attention? Because Augie had a good game, and maybe that's because Burton's out there and he's able to get him more open. But I don't ever remember him really doing much during this game.
Yeah. I think that at least my perspective on it was, it's not that he had a good game. It's not that he had a bad game. It's that he did a lot of things, but wasn't getting the ball as much as he could have, and wasn't having the same type of impact that he had in his 45 minutes against New York, where he was the only one that the attack was looking like it was funneled through at times, right? And so I think he was doing the types of things that we've seen Bob want from a second striker in his lineups, which is pulling the defense apart. But we weren't seeing Jockeson do what we hope to see Jockeson do, which is ball at his feet, driving into the 18-yard box, taking shots, or putting balls to somebody else. And I think that's kind of why I feel ambivalent about him this game, but I don't know that I would say that I don't think he had a bad game. I don't know. Justin, what are your thoughts on Jockeson last night?
Yeah, I didn't see much of him live. I mean, highlights stuff. What I think I noticed more than anything, and this might have been because of Augie, it might have just been the way Louisville play, I feel like watching even the two like kind of big breakaways that Augie had, and he had some other moments, but like the two big breakaways, I felt like the center backs from Louisville were sitting just that slight bit further apart to where Augie was able to make those runs in behind and get in behind. And so where I feel like a lot of games to this point in the season, we've seen those center backs sit 2 yards on either side of Augie. And like, there's just no room for Augie to operate. Even if he tries to make a creative run, he just can't do it. And so I felt like this game, like he was able to make some side of like diagonal runs through the defense where he got in behind. And I don't know if that was because of Jackson or just the way the Louisville play.
Yeah. But
it made me think like, oh, is that a function of Jackson being out there? He's like, okay, now center to think about it. They don't, maybe they're not reacting to it. Maybe not. He's not actually making anything happen. But, to use our former defender, Ordonez, sitting back there, he can't just sit on Augie's shoulder and be like, well, I'm just going to ride this guy. Like, he has to be like, oh, but there's that guy over there who could actually score a goal. So I got to watch that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mentioned this in our Slack, but there was a moment in the game where towards the end, it's on a set piece, and there's Ordonez marking Beto Edracht. And I was just like, oh, man, seeing the pair of them together on opposite teams is just like the what if, right? Like, oh, man, what if these guys were playing in that defense together and what that would look like? And it's just like, but I'm glad that, like, I'm really happy with our defense, so I can't complain too much. Josh, any other thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I'm like, so the, taking Augie out of it and how, because I do think of this game, I think of him the most. I feel like, well, that and Dick having a great game as well. Mm-hmm. But there was just good performances overall, I feel like, with a lot of like the midfield. I know like early on, I'm trying to think of which play was, but like Mertz had a great shot on goal and actually forced the keeper to make a save. And that looked good. And the distribution was good. A lot of passes actually into space where the guys were actually able to get on the ball. Whereas before, I mean, there was still plenty of times where you would see, them trying to play into space and it just go right to Louisville and be disappointed. And I know there was a little spell in the middle there where I was just pulling my hair out if I had any, because of the fact that it looked like both teams were just playing it to each other, constantly back and forth. I'm like, neither team can keep the ball right now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, this was a game where we didn't need, but where I felt like the confidence, we were going into it with more confidence because of that New York game. And it really wanted to see the guys be able to perform, and they showed up and they did a great game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I think like you talked about some of the less precise gameplay, the ball being a little more back and forth at times. And I do think and wonder if a big part of that is both of these teams did just play on Wednesday, and how much that goes into, sure, not everybody played 90 minutes in both games, but a lot of players on both sides played on Wednesday for some or all of the game. And I think that definitely has its effects, right? That you're just not going to be able to expect them to do what they did on Wednesday and then go to Louisville and do the exact same thing against another team that's looking to keep their win streak going and stay at the top of the league. And so I think that for me makes me also feel like, like there are things that I could look at in this game and say, that could be improved on and that could be improved on. But in the context of this week, I think I'm a lot less concerned about that than I would be if we had a whole week off, or like when we had that bye week and came back and looked awful afterwards, right? Like we looked really good still, despite just playing a few days before. So, Justin, tell me something else that you thought about it in this game.
Probably my only other major thought of this game is if I had turned the game on and the bug was not in the corner of the screen, what team were we playing? Those Blue City jerseys, obviously. Like the blue team. So North Carolina, that's who we're playing. No, I was like, I get it, it's their flag, it's their city flag or whatever, but
Isn't it their old county flag before their counties merged or something like that?
I don't know.
Something.
I don't know.
It's awful. Whatever it is, they need to not do that one ever again. Or don't
They
do it
should
against
do
the
a
Hounds.
throwback jersey and make it the crest that they had for the off season before they completely trashed the crest that they rebranded to, for like that brief moment before they realized how big of a mistake it was. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
That would be a fun one.
Man.
That'd be better than this one. That'd be better than this one.
Yeah.
We did have people go to the game. So shout out to, I think there's like 5 Steeler members who went. And as always, the freaking Coopers are like the nicest supporters group in the world. Like it's so annoying because we shouldn't like them because it's Louis and like they're like the team that usually knocks us out of things, and like we should have like the most animosity towards this particular supporters group. And we can't, because anytime we go or they come here, it's like, hey, you guys want some bourbon? Hey, what's going on? Like, they're the nicest supporters group in the world. And like literally gifting us bottles of bourbon. And like, just, you know, what are you supposed to do? What do you do with that? Like, it's like, fine, you're cool. We get it.
Yeah. And it's, I think what's so frustrating about it is it's like, yes, we can like banter back and forth when we're in the stadium and like shout at them, but like it comes off, I think, for me at least, even a little less sincere than like Detroit shows up. Like it is real, right? Like with Louisville, it's like, yeah, we're making fun of you or we're picking on you and whatnot, but it's like, but hey, you want more bourbon in the parking lot after?
So darn nice. Liz is on.
Yeah. We're just gonna, Liz, absolutely.
Kumbaya, yada.
Friends everywhere, but on the field. Yep, Liz keeping us in line as always.
Yeah, right.
Guys, I mean, it was a good week. We got a win in the Open Cup. We got a good draw in the league. Yeah. Do you guys have any last thoughts about either of these things, these games, or just this week overall? How you're feeling?
I hope this is the week that's the turning point this season. Laurel and I were talking a little bit about that last night. And then I don't know if we get this draw yesterday without the win midweek. I think the win midweek gave us the confidence to get this draw, and I hope that that's just the turning point. That some weaker competition and all that kind of stuff, all of a sudden we can get going in the right direction for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to transition. So let's take a look at what the Mondo moment is.
It's time for Mondo's moment, the top moment of the game from the Mondalorian.
This week we have 2 Mondo moments to talk about. The first comes from late stoppage against NYCFC in the US Open Cup. A Robbie Mertz corner finds Beto Idrich's head for the goal to send the Hounds through to the next round. This is the way. The second comes from the 40th minute against Louisville as a laser beam shot from outside the box manages to get stopped by none other than the Eric Dick. This is the way.
This has been Mondo's moment. Go Hounds.
Okay, so guys, Josh and I were talking about this before we got on the air. For some reason, I can't see what we just played. So I have no idea what happened. I thought like it wasn't working at all. So I was like, Mike, can you help? And he's like, no, I'm at a soccer game. And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, blame it on me. So I'm not blaming it on Mike. I think you all got to see it, but I didn't get to see it. So Josh, Justin, help me out.
No, it's the best moments in both matches, as expected. So, I mean, the goal for Beto was fantastic. Did not talk about the celebration, which is a missed opportunity. I think that was the greatest moment, was the celebration. And then the other one was a save by Dick, which, I mean, let's be honest, not much else we can talk about with this game because the best moments were the fact that they didn't score. So.
Yeah. Well, Josh, this goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? Like talking about some of those things that we've seen in the past. And I just feel like you now have the opportunity to go dig up that clip and send it to Mondo of Kevin Kerr in that exact same goal celebration, because it's so much fun to do that. I mean, obviously a very different one, but I remember a couple, was it last summer, 2 summers ago, when Justin, you and Laura Ellen came out, and we all met up right when the Liverpool game was happening, and we were having dinner, and I got to tell him about Romeo Parks and the red card and drop kick Romeo, right? And just like talk to Mondo about some of those things that are just like, those are classic or infamous Hounds moments, and it's fun. So have fun, Josh.
Yeah. I have to have more ambition, but yes, I will see about taking up. I think it's really cool to have them side by side, because I do want to see if it's like in my brain, it's like the same exact moment, like them running and like tearing the shirt off, whipping it around them, and then like throwing it.
I really hope you do pull this together, because like you're right. In my mind, like I'm seeing both of these clips and I'm like, they look identical, but I'm not sure, like, are they, or is
it's also going to be old USL. So
right.
it will be a like 1080p or like a 480p camera stream of Kurt.
More pixels.
Yeah, exactly.
So. All right. Well, guys, we've got the hard job of first we're going to look at the New York City game, and then we're going to look at the Louisville game and pick our top 3 players. And I say the hard job because I think actually in both of these games we've got some really hard choices to make. So, Josh, we'll start with you. Give me somebody from that New York City game that you think should be in our top 3.
Okay, this is where the question comes. Can I put Beto in there, even though he just got it? Like, was there anything else other than that goal that makes it justify that he's one of the top 3 players? I think he deserves to be up there, but I guess that's the question. Was his performance the rest of the game good enough to put him in the top 3, or is it just you just need to have that goal?
I mean, I'm okay with it, right?
I'm okay with it. I mean,
like he got the goal. Like, what else can you ask for from a player coming in late in a game in a 0-0 draw than to put you through in dramatic fashion in a tournament? That's accolade worthy for sure. Justin, I'm sure you've got a plethora of people you want to choose from. So give me another player.
A plethora? I don't know about a plethora. This feels like it's frustrating. Okay, it's just no. I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. Sean Suber.
Okay.
Sean Suber is who I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I'm glad you say Suber. That makes it easy for me to pick someone else. For me, I think that just like seeing what Jackson did in those first 45 minutes, I think really set the tone. And I really liked what I saw from him, that he was opening the game up. He was putting New York under pressure. And I think that those 45 minutes were so important because when he was not in the game, we saw a much different look from both the Hounds and from New York. And I wonder if that would have been different. So I think for me, he's one of my top 3. I don't think, though, we can say, hey, we each picked one and we feel good about that, because I've got a few other players that I'm like, I don't know, right? Like, I want to say Robbie Mertz. I want to say Danny Griffin. I want to say Eric Dick. I'm not going to say all 3 of those because then I'm picking 4. But I think that we have to have a hard discussion about, okay, like, are we leaving anybody off if we pick those 3? Or do we want to pick those 3 and then rank them? Like,
I mean, the only one I would say that I could definitely see the argument for is definitely Mertz. I feel like Mertz did have a really good game. But I'm also like, this is the harder one because it's the most distant in my brain now since we just watched yesterday's game. So now I'm like, am I remembering this right? Did he have a good game?
I mean, so my reaction after the game on Wednesday night was, oh gosh, when we get to this section of the show, I have no idea, because I feel like I could make a case for every Hound that stepped on the field for more than a few minutes. That this was such a good, complete performance and a good team performance. And I am struggling to think of moments where I felt that Hounds players made mistakes as opposed to New York players making excellent plays, right? Like, and I think there's a big difference there, that there were times where our guys might have gotten beat on a shot, but I don't think it's because our guys were doing the wrong thing. I think it's that they just got beat, and that's going to happen in this game. Justin, I mean, help me clarify this, because I'm just like, I'm stuck. I don't know where to go.
So what I was going to say, and I'm going to come back to it and say it in a different way than I was going to say it. I think Jackson Walty had one of the best performances of the night. The problem for Walty at this point in the season is there has been a lot of games where he's been the only player who has had good performances. When we have a team that has a lot of good performances, all of a sudden his performance gets lost. And I think he was one of the better players on the night. And so that's where I'm like, but I don't want to necessarily throw another player into the mix, because, well, now we've got 7 of the 9 players, you know, like we got 7 of the 10 outfield players on our list, and like, you know, whatever. I think I'd be fine. I'd be good with, I think Beto deserves to be in the top 3. I don't know where, but I think he deserves to be there. It's a knockout tournament, so you have to have goals. So you have to put the goal scorer in the top, even if he didn't do anything else in the game. That's what matters. I think I would be good with Mertz. That would be the other one that I'd be really good with. And then so, it's kind of a toss up from there.
Yeah. So are we good with saying we're choosing then for the third player in the discussion between Jacqueson and Suber? You good with that, sure. Josh?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I think you convinced me to say Suber, because for me, I actually think Suber is is my top choice on the night. And so I was trying to throw out alternatives when you had already said Suber. So I pick him over Jacqueson every moment if we're picking the other two, because I think he just anchored the defense, and he didn't put a foot wrong all night long, and was just solid and excelled in every opportunity he had to be a good defender. So I put Suber honestly at the top of that list. Do you guys think one of the other guys deserves to be getting 3 points over Sean Suber?
I can make an argument. I'll say that's good.
All right. Well, that makes my job. That makes me feel good. That I'm like, okay, I'm not imagining things, right? And so Beto and Mertz. Josh, how you leaning on this?
I mean, I think Mertz probably did more during the game as a whole to get more points. I'm just happy to have Beto on the list, at least getting a point here, because it is a major moment. Obviously for the game, but also for his career.
Yeah. Justin, agree, disagree, commentary?
Yes, same. I think Mertz was in for most of the game, so I think you've got to or all the games. So you got to give him. I think you got to give him the nod over Beto, and he had the assist. So like, I think he played just as important role in that game, in that goal as Beto did, and so I think it's fair to go Suber, Mertz, Beto, and I think we should be good with that.
I think that's the way we got to go then, because I think we all feel that that's a good ranking. So there you go. That's not the end of the night though for us. We've got to do this same process for the game last night against Louisville. Who did I start with? I start with Josh. So Justin, let's start with you.
I think you got to put Augie up there. It was his best performance of the year. Had a couple chances. If he'd been a little quicker on the on both of them, he might have scored both of those. So I think he's got to be up there for sure.
Interesting. He's not in my top 3.
Okay. I mean, he was going to be one of my last. He was going to be my last pick, but he was on my top 3. The other one, I think, obvious one at least, is Dick. Not very often that we actually do put Dick on the list. In this situation, especially with the Bob defense, usually you don't feel like the keeper is called upon that much. But this game, he made some really good solid saves. So I feel like this was actually a situation unusual as it is, that I do think Dick should be in the top 3.
All right. I think I agree with Dick for sure. Josh, you said Augie would be your third. You've got another person in between them?
Psh, you have to pick. I'm not picking.
Darn it, I tried.
Nice try.
For me, I actually think the best player on the field all night long was Perrin Barnes. I think he was doing everything he needed to do both ways, and really, really impressed with him. I think that it is easy to see from his first game for Beto, for his first game where he slipped in North Carolina and gave up that goal, and then to see how good he's gotten for us after that, and that he responded. But I still think that Perrin is possibly the better pickup of new players for the Hounds this season. And that for me is just like, I think he was doing everything last night that he needed to do both ways. And I really like him. I think he's a special player for the Hounds. So he's my top pick. Justin, you're reacting. Tell me your thoughts.
I'm laughing just because I think the statement is true that if you watch the whole game, you will always miss the defensive midfielders. If you watch the defensive midfielders, you'll see the whole game play out. And I think Beto and Walty, that's our problem. That's just the problem with them, is like they're never gonna lead the team in blocks, clearances, probably passes, probably shots, probably assists. Their name's not going to show up on the score sheet, but they're doing everything that they need to do to help the team win. And so I don't have a problem in this game. My reaction was more in your, hey, this is the best pickup we've had. I think Barnes is certainly more electric than what Beto is, and I do think he had a better game than what Beto did in Louisville. So I'm not arguing the pick. I'm not arguing the pick this game at all. What I'm more arguing is I think Walty and Beto always are going to suffer from the they're not the player that you see do everything, or they're not the player that gets in the spectacular moments, but they put 90 minutes of good work in and we go, they did all right.
I understand your argument and I would want to agree, but I want everybody to visualize Mike's board behind me and look at the name at the top of the list, and it's Jackson Walty.
It's Walty, yeah.
So
okay,
but yes, as you said before, Jackson has been consistent all season when everybody else hasn't been performing. So, but it's just kind of funny that you make that argument, and currently one of those two players is outshining everybody else.
We just don't need to falsify the player of the year just because we feel bad for not giving players nods to other players.
Okay, so we've got Dick. Wait, who did you say now? Oh, you said Augie, and I said Barnes. Are we good with that, or are we looking at anyone else?
I got nothing really. I can't think of any. Like you brought up Walty. I did think he had a good game as well, but I don't know if it's getting hard with him because it's just like become expected, and he's running all over the place and seems to be killing it. And it's just like, okay, yeah, another good game.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know that he's one of my top 3 picks, but I mentioned it when we were talking about the game, but Wachter really, really did impress me again in this game. And impressed me, I thought he was the best defender on the night for the Hounds. And that's really, really good to see. So I just want to put that out there again as an honorable mention. So if we're picking between Augie, Barnes, and Dick, how are we feeling?
I'm good.
I mean, I could make an argument of putting Wachter in over Augie. If Augie puts either of those chances away, easy top 3. But I think when you're talking about a 0-0 draw, I feel like you got to give the defenders some love of what they did on the night. And I would be okay with the Dick Wachter Barnes top 3 too. So going to argue that either way too hard.
I mean, that sounds like a 0-0 draw. Players to be showcasing for sure.
Let's do it. I've got Dick at the top of the heap, even though I just gushed about Barnes, because as good as Barnes was, I think that Dick made an impact on this game with some massive saves that not everybody in this league is going to get to.
I put him on the list because I did think he had a great game. So
yeah. Who are we picking second and third then between Vactor and Barnes? I'm leaving this up to you guys to talk about, because I got I think everybody knows where I stand next.
I think my logical argument would be I would put Vactor over Barnes, just because I think as a outside back, you got to have a little more influence on the offensive side of the field, and he didn't have a ton. And so I think, but he was really solid all night long. That's not, again, not picking against him. I think it's just, if to me to put him in second, I would have to see like a couple more crosses into the box or things like that would make it okay. This is kind of a clear-cut chance that happened that was his.
You might be convincing me. I don't know if you fully are, but convincing me enough for this purpose, maybe.
No, I think that makes actually a lot of sense. And I remember thinking right after the game was like Vactor trying to come up with like anything really negative to say about his performance, and I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm down with Vactor being over.
Well, I appreciate that agreement with Justin, Josh, because that's 2 out of 3, and I don't have to try to break a tie or make an argument one way or the other. So let's go with that. So Dick, Vactor, and Barnes in that order for this game.
It makes me happy because on the week, if you're asking me on the week, I would go Dick, Vactor, Suber. You got to give your goalkeeper and 2 center backs a lot of credit for 2 shutouts. And so I would and they all got points. So I'm good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I like that take. That's really good. So guys, we are 8 games in. We've got 8 points. We're going, like, this game in Louisville started another pretty long road trip for us. We're away our next few games. We've got Colorado this coming Saturday. Then we, on the 21st, are in Philly in the Union for the Open Cup. Justin, you and I got to talk, see if we're making that happen of going. If anybody else is thinking about going, let us know, because there's a chance that Justin and I might be there. And then we play our 10th game in Rhode Island. After that, we come back to Highmark finally on May 31st. Justin, you guys will be here for that game too, right?
Yep.
Nice. That's a Jägermeister Cup. But it's strange that the way that fell is we play Rhode Island in the league away, and then we play them at home in the Jägermeister Cup a week later. So we're going to see a lot of Rhode Island at the end of the month. So let's just, though, look at these 3 away games. So Colorado, Philly, and Rhode Island. Because at the end of that, we are allowed to, by Mongols, charter, rules, constitution, whatever you want to call it, look at the table. So in these next 3 games, what do you hope to see? What do you think is realistic? Hopes, dreams, no charts, but, table at the end of this. What are we thinking?
It's going to be tough. I mean, it's a situation where I don't feel like, if it wasn't for the fact that we had such a good performance in the Open Cup and then getting that draw, like, I thought these games were going to be the ones where it was going to be a lot of testing our patience, as far as, not getting a lot out of these games and then having to be like, listen, it's a whole bunch of away games in a row. What do you expect? And Open Cup games, and it's West Coast, so like, just don't expect too much. But I don't know. Now I'm kind of like, we can do this.
By we can do this, what do you think we can do? I guess is
I'm not expecting anything out of Philly. that'll be cool, but let's be honest here. Like, it's the Open Cup, and I don't think we should be, I got a feeling Justin has a different opinion on this, actually. But yes, I just don't want us to. Is it to the point now where doing good in the Open Cup is more detrimental than good to this team, as far as like resources for the rest of the season?
Yeah. So what you're saying, Josh, is that prioritizing the league games over the Open Cup game is not a surprise to you if Bob makes that decision.
Yeah, unless we get first or second place, we can't get anything else out of this tournament, really.
Yeah. So, Justin, I want to hear your thoughts on the 3 games. But before, I mean, you are a resident Philadelphia Union expert. So I want you to talk a little bit more about that Open Cup game first in terms of what you expect there, and then maybe the 2 league games afterwards.
Yeah, I'll probably go into this later at some point, and I'm thinking about trying to get Mike and I to do some sort of show about this game. But I do think actually the Riverhounds have a really solid chance of winning this game. The Union are in a stretch of, I think it's 10 games in the month of May. 10 games in the month. This is their 3rd straight week of having a Wednesday game when they get to this game. They got sent to extra time and PKs against Indy in the Open Cup. They play LA Galaxy this coming Wednesday. Then they play Pittsburgh the following Wednesday. And then they play Toronto the following Wednesday. And they have weekend games every weekend in May as well. So literally, I think it's 9 or 10 games that they play in the month of May. And so they're going to have to do a ton of squad rotation. They're going to have to figure it out. Like, this is what we've been talking about over on my Union podcast, is we've been talking about, like, there's going to have to be a ton of rotation this month as to what happens. And so I don't know in this game if we see much more than a B+ squad that the Union put out. Like, I think it could end up being like they call a couple MLS Next Pro players up, and and it's like a half Union, half MLS Next Pro lineup. And I think there's a chance that we could go in there and get a result and come out with a win. And that hurts me to say as a Union fan, but also, like, I don't know how else the Union prioritize this season and figure it out. And so, like, when you're sitting second place in the Eastern Conference, or technically third place, but the top team is tied. So, like, you're sitting third place in the Eastern Conference, you got 9 games in a month, you got to figure out how to manage all of that. And I don't think they put a super strong lineup against Pittsburgh. And so I think that's a chance for Pittsburgh to actually get a result and not stretch themselves too much to get that result. So I'm excited about the game. That leads me to, I think the Riverhounds need 2 wins over the next 3 games, and I think they realistically can do it. I don't know whether it's Colorado or Rhode Island or both of them they beat, but I think if they can get 2 wins regardless of where they come, I feel like that's again, we talked about the turning point of the season and how these seasons go. I think that's the confidence boost they need to move forward. So, I think it's a good shot that we could get a win in Philly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, yes, these are road games. We've not performed well on the road, but we're looking at a Colorado team that's doing no better in the West than we are in the East. And we're looking at a Rhode Island team that we are still ahead of. I think if I've seen it rightly, I haven't really paid that much attention, but I think they've been on a little bit better of a run of form, but they're not very good right now overall. And so I think both of these games are winnable games. I can see us getting. Okay, we haven't done this in a while. Mike's not here, so we're going to play. So 4.5 over or under in the league in these 2 games. So
league only.
A win and a draw is the under. 2 wins is the over. Josh, what are you taking?
I thought a win and a draw was going to be good. That's what I thought. I thought it was like, yeah, if we get a win and a draw, that's gravy. Like, I'm not losing either one of these games. So, like, that's my goal is a win and a draw.
All right. I think that's fair. I'm just picking a number. I don't know what I'm doing. Mike's not here. He does this. Justin, what are you?
I'm taking the under, but I'm not upset by it. Like
Okay.
Josh said, a win and a draw, a win and a loss, I'll take even in these games. Like it's on the road. That's you say you win at home, draw on the road. If you get one win, you get 3 points. If you get 2 draws, you get 2. So I'd honestly rather get a win and a loss than 2 draws. So
Okay.
I'll take it.
I mean, I'm with Liz over all day. I think these are both really winnable games, and I think the Hounds can go and do it, especially after this week where we started to see something. Now, do I have my concerns? Yeah, I think we can talk about we're not still 100% sure when we'll start scoring goals, but these are the types of games where I think that if this is that turning point, we can do that. And I don't have a good perspective on Philly, so I really appreciate your much more nuanced and aware perspective on that, Justin. That gives me hope that we could be going into week 10 of the USL season, moving on to the quarterfinals of the Open Cup, and having just picked up 2 wins in the league, and that doesn't feel unbelievable to me at this point. And that's not to say that I think that the Hounds will go in and clobber Philly. I don't think that'll happen, but I think that an advancement, whether that's an outright win or penalty kicks or something like that, is possibly possible. So I kind of like that. So we've got those things coming up for the Hounds, but I think the bigger news is that we also have a season opener for the brand new Pittsburgh Riveters, and that is this Friday. So I'm just going to throw it up so everybody sees it again. I've complained about the formatting of this in the past, but we are looking at 516. Is that Cleveland Force? Is that where they're from? The Force? Yep. I think it's Cleveland.
Yeah.
And so we've got a game, and we've got a home game. So we've got the Riveters come up. I don't have a lot of thoughts about this because it's so hard to, I think, for me to conceptualize what to expect when I haven't seen them play yet. But I have a lot of positive emotions towards the team starting, towards the quality of the players that we've brought in, towards what looks like is going to be a sold-out game. I'm excited to go on Friday night. I mean, Justin, I think you won't be there for this one. You'll be there in a few weeks. But, I mean, tell me your thoughts of kind of paying attention to this from afar.
Well, I'm super bummed because Rain of Jean's dance recital is Friday night at 7 o'clock. I'm not going to get to watch. But I'm excited to... But I'm excited for this game. I'm really excited to see this team kick off. Can't wait for a couple weeks from now when we'll be there to watch. And so it's going to be a great night. Everybody should go celebrate this moment in Pittsburgh history, and it's going to be a fun game. So don't miss out on it.
Yeah, Josh, will I see you there? Or does that depend on if you're sick or?
Yeah, I should be good. So yeah, just kind of. This is going to be a crazy week because we have kit reveal on the 14th. No, not the 14th. Yeah, the 14th, I think.
Yep, Wednesday. Yep.
Wednesday. And then on Thursday night. Yeah, on Thursday night, there is a riveting evening with the Steel Army. So we're kind of doing All Hounds Eve, but for the Riveters, so riveting evening. And I've got on good authority that we might be able to snag some Riveters will be there, hopefully. No one's committed 100%, but it does sound like we will have some front office and some Riveter support there. So that'd be a cool moment to kind of like hang out with the players a little bit, if possible. And then we have the game. That's cool. That's 3 nights in a row of Riveters activity that's going to be happening. So it's going to be a lot, but it's it's coming fast and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
A riveting night. That's at the Pitch.
Yeah, the Pitch on Butler from 7 to 9 p.m.
All right.
So yeah,
cool.
Just a little short, like kind of like mixer type thing, and just hanging out, seeing everyone, and getting ready for the season.
Guys, we've talked about a lot today. We've talked for a lot longer than we normally do. It's been a good conversation, a fun conversation. Any last thoughts on anything we talked about tonight?
It's an exciting time. Between Riveters and the Hounds looking good, like I'm pumped.
All right. Well, if you follow us, you know where to find us. If this is your first time listening to us, find us on your podcast app, on YouTube, various social media sites. We've got a Substack, mongols.substack, or is it substack.mongols? I don't remember which order it's in. Come follow us. Find us at games. Justin and I met a dude at the last home game that just kind of found us and recognized us and said hi, and that was really weird and surreal, but fun. And so we always love talking about the Hounds. Guys, great to talk to you, and we'll catch you all later.
Later.